Happy November, y'all. Oh, what is up, you guys? If you're new here, my name is Mackenzie. If you're not new, thank you for coming back. Welcome to my channel. So you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. This is what today's video is going to be. I am going to be showing you guys exactly how I made this awesome Death Becomes Her super quick and easy costume for Halloween. So I know it's past Halloween, but I didn't want to skip out on this video just because of that. I want Halloween year round. You guys know me. So this costume, like I said, is very simple and easy. I was able to get the clothing pieces right on Amazon. Everything else is from a craft store or I already had it. So that's what today's video is going to be. I'm going to show you how I made this costume from Death Becomes Her. I am Goldie Hawn specifically in that movie. If you guys have not seen Death Becomes Her, I highly, highly recommend it. I've been watching this movie since I was a very little girl, courtesy of my grandmother, and then of course my mother after that. Me and my sister, we love this movie. We've been wanting to do these costumes for a very long time, so I'm super thrilled. I think it came out great for a very affordable costume. If you haven't seen Death Becomes Her, please go check it out. It's a cult classic. It's got Isabella Rossellini in it. It's got Meryl Streep. It's got Bruce Willis. It's got Goldie Hawn. It's so good, you guys. It's worth the watch, I promise you. So that's what today's costume is, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I made it. So if that sounds like something you guys are into, let's get started. All right, y'all, it is time to get this costume started. You guys at this point have already seen the finished reveal, so hopefully it turned out good. But this costume is pretty simple. All we really need to do is essentially the wig and the shirt. Everything else is some pretty basic stuff. The capris I already had, the tights, the shoes. The makeup is pretty basic. The crazy blue eye contacts I happen to already have as well because I needed those for my Nosferatu costume. If you haven't seen that, I'll pop a picture up right here. That's why I have tan gross beige nails. They're gonna stay tan because I don't want to do a red and then actually ruin the set. I wouldn't be able to stand the red for the next couple weeks. So all we have to do is the shirt and the wig. So this is a pretty simple costume, or hopefully it will be. We just have to give this a wet look. So at this point in the movie, I've had a hole blown through my stomach, which we will get to, and all of the products I'm going to use to give this that look. Hopefully. If not, I do actually have a backup of this just in case. But both this shirt and this wig I picked up right on Amazon. We are not working with the best here when we are talking about this wig. I will still link everything down below. I got them right on Amazon. I think this was like 20 bucks, but like I said, I didn't want to spend a ton on something I'm going to wear once and throw it into the Halloween costume bin. So we're going to have to put it on, give it a trim for sure, and we're going to keep it just a little bit longer than what we see in the picture. I'll pop up a picture right here of my reference photo while I cut the hair, but we're gonna have to keep it a little bit longer because once we give it that kind of 90s scrunched wet look, it's obviously going to shrink up. So we definitely need to at least give it a little bit of a trim. Then all we have to do is the shirt. Everything else is kind of just piecing together the day of. So I've been wanting to do it for years, so I'm so excited to be finally doing it. I hope it comes together. So we're gonna pop this on my head. We're gonna start with the wig, and then as soon as we finish getting this styled, we can move right on to the shirt, which shouldn't take too long, I don't think, because the whole thing is red already, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's get this wig on. All right, here is the terrible wig. God, we're gonna have to work some magic on this. So I've got my hair up in a wig net underneath this just because we do not want to cut any of my actual hair. We've got to just start trimming. So really all we're doing is just taking a little bit of length off the bottom, but the bangs is really the major thing we have to focus on because she does have definite bangs, as you can see in the photo. So all of these longer pieces, I'm going to pull out by just grabbing them and letting these shorter hairs fall. So I'm gonna pull all this hair to the back here, and we're just gonna start chopping, and I'm gonna go right to probably my pupil line. And as you can see, I did a really good job of getting this camera angle just right so you guys can see what I'm doing. Anyways, all I'm doing is essentially just point cutting these bangs. You guys know how scissors work. I don't want a super blunt bang, so I'm using a technique called point cutting. I'll pop up a picture of what that looks like. Essentially just cutting the hair at an angle and making little points and peaks within it, so it's just not a super blunt cut. And now that I'm happy with the length of the bangs, I'm just gonna work on the angles, making sure it blends in nicely to the rest of my hair. All right, so I'm pretty happy with how that looks, I think. Now we have to worry about the actual length of the wig. We're keeping in mind that we are scrunching it, so we are going to lose length, hopefully, if we can get this thing to scrunch up. So I really am only going to be cutting a couple inches off because she's got pretty good length hair in this film. I'm really just going to be cutting off kind of the mullety ends here. All right, and again, hitting you guys with the super good camera angles, but just doing the same thing here, getting rid of the length with a quick chop, then going back in, kind of debulking, doing a little bit more point cutting, and really just trying to get rid of the length and that mullety look. That is looking pretty good to me. I think this is workable from here. Once we start wetting it and giving it that 90s scrunched wet look vibe, I think we'll be looking a lot closer to the real thing. I think this is good. I think we should scrunch it, dry it, let it set, and see what it looks like. All right, so we're going to pop this off my head, and then we're going to style it. So we're gonna soak the whole thing down, and we're gonna start scrunching it 90s style. All right, so this part is really easy. Like I said, we are first going in with a water spray bottle. I am completely drenching this wig down. After I've done that, that's when I'm going in with the product. So I'm going back in, re-wetting everything again with both hairspray and gel. I just got the cheapest I could find since this is a costume wig. And I'm going in and I'm scrunching up the bottom and kind of piecing out the bangs. So I want everything to stay looking wet and to stay looking piecey and crunchy. You can see me holding my hands up, and that's to kind of give the hair a chance to dry. And the heat from my hands is going to help it do that. So as soon as I finish scrunching, I'm just going to throw it in a net and let it completely dry. Okay, so now that I've done that, we are moving on to cutting out the mirror. If you guys are new to stained glass, I will have appropriate links down below to show you guys really in depth on how to do this. But I'm essentially just taking my sheet of mirrored glass, taking my glass cutter, which is essentially just a glass scorer, and scoring along those lines that I've traced, taking my running pliers and pinching out that circle. Now again, just in case you guys aren't stained glass artists, I chose to use a carbide stone here. I'm wetting that carbide stone and I'm going around the edges and grinding them down. We obviously don't want this mirror to have any sharp edges, and I didn't want to use my glass grinder, so this is accessible to everybody. So again, I'm just taking this carbide stone, going around all the edges and making it nice and smooth, giving it a nice clean at the edge and being an idiot. All right, now that I'm done messing around, it is time for the fun part. So I'm going to take my dress form here and I'm first going to cover it up with a trash bag and kind of tighten it up in the back there with some tape, because I don't want to wreck the dress form with what we're about to do. So I am popping my shirt on the dress form. I want to make sure that the sleeves are kind of stuffed. So it's going to make what we're going to do a little bit easier, or if at least we have the bottom of the sleeve stuffed. So what I'm going to do here is essentially kind of coating and painting areas with a product called Ultra Clear. So I actually use Ultra Clear in my stained glass projects. I use it for my glass on glass mosaics. The reason I chose it here is because it's waterproof, it dries quickly, it's ultra clear, and most importantly, it's flexible. It stays very, very flexible. So I'm going over the areas of the shirt where I think it would look the most cool to kind of give a wet effect and painting that ultra clear on. Once I finish with the ultra clear, I go back in with a clothing dye and kind of just enhance all of those areas to make them a little bit darker and really make the shirt look like I just got soaking wet and it is slowly drying. So all those spots that stay wet are a little bit darker and all the areas that dry quickest are lighter. Alrighty guys, so here is our shirt and our ultra clear is essentially cured. It is the next night, so now we are ready to start painting around the hole of where our mirror is going to set, and that's why I just do Sharpie, because it does not matter. We are going to paint a black kind of bloody looking area around this hole. So I picked up a couple different things, and my original idea was to use fabric spray paint because I think that would be the most natural look, but it just makes me a little bit nervous using this because you have to be so careful. If you mess up, which is quite easy to do with spray paint on clothes, it's going to be hard to take it back with a black on a red. So what I think I'm going to do instead is just paint it by hand with some fabric paint. So I just got some regular old dimensional fabric paint. I got it in black and red, and we're going to kind of mix them together. We're going to do a nice heavy layer of black around the outside here, but we're also going to mix it together to make a nice blood red, to throw some blood red in there as well, since it technically is a hole blown in my stomach. And because we've already traced the outline, we're just going to pretend that the mirror is sitting here. It doesn't matter how much paint we get in the center here. We're just going to start from the inside and work our way out and fade it out. We want to make it look as natural as we can for such an unnatural looking thing. So I'm gonna grab my paintbrushes, my paint palette, and we're just gonna start kind of stippling on some fabric paint. I've got a couple of cheapo paintbrushes here because I really, really want it to be textured looking, and I'm gonna be doing a lot of stippling, I think. So I've just got these very cheap craft paintbrushes here, and I've got a toothbrush as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing any splattering of blood. I don't think so, just because that's not how it looks in the actual movie, but we'll see once we kind of start painting. Okay, so once again, this part is pretty easy and fun. I am just mixing up a color that I think is going to kind of translate as a blood red looking next to the black paint and up against the red shirt. And I'm going back and forth and kind of just mixing. I started out with a nice layer of black, and then I'm going back in with that red that I mixed up and kind of really touching up those outer layers to really give it a nice good blend and kind of dried blood look. It sounds gross, but that's exactly what we're going for here. So I've given that initial kind of paint job. I'm going to throw down the mirror now because I want to be able to blend the edges of the mirror with the paint as well too. So now I'm going back in with a much thicker hand, and I'm going to really let the bristles do the work here, making it a nice feathered look. That's going to help so much with the illusion aspect of this part of the costume. And we're building up all along the outside edges here, not only to blend in the white edge of the cut mirror, to also help blend in between all of the different textures we've got going on. So now I'm going back in with more fabric dye because I wasn't happy with how last night's turned out. So I'm going in with a little bit darker this time because it will dry lighter. Alright guys, our costume is just about done. All we have to do now is let it dry, and the rest is going to be the finishing touches as we're putting this costume on for Halloween. So we're going to let this dry overnight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So it is officially Halloween, y'all. You'll be seeing this after Halloween. I've got a different video going up on actually Halloween day, but I'm liking how everything is looking. Everything is dried. It turned out good. I didn't want to go overboard with the actual color dye, and I'm glad I didn't. I think this is good. Just the bottom of it being wet, the bottom of the sleeves, and just the wet details of the ultra clear that we did up here. So I'm happy with it. I think it turned out good. So I will see you tonight once we're ready to go trick-or-treating for Halloween. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I'm pretty pleased. I think it came out good. Everybody loved it. Trick-or-treating. Everybody kept kind of double taking, saying it looked really good, like it was an actual hole in my stomach. And like I said, I wanted to keep it cheap because you guys have already seen Nosferatu was my main costume for Halloween. So I feel like I did pretty well. Everything I got from Amazon, I already had, or I got pretty cheap at a local craft store. So as always, I'm going to have everything linked down below that I possibly can that I needed and used for today's video. I will also, of course, have the contacts. I don't know if I mentioned them earlier, but I'll have these contacts linked down below too because they actually are quite good. They are comfortable as far as colored contacts go. And yes, it does affect my vision, but not nearly as bad as some of the other colored contacts. And as you guys can see, it makes my eyes unsettling blue. Like my eyes don't look anything like this. And this is exactly what Goldie Hawn looks like in the movie. So I think it came out absolutely perfect. I'm really happy with the contacts. So again, I will link them down below. I will link the shirt, the pants, everything. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. And I was just talking to another subscriber about this. I want to do costumes year round. You guys know I love bald caps. I want to do costumes year round. I don't care that it's not Halloween. I have so much fun just dressing up and doing things just because. I want to put on a bald cap and turn myself into Gollum because I can, and it's fun. So I want to know what you guys think. Comment down below. Let me know if you'd like to see me dress up and do bald caps and do just crappy SFX makeup for funsies on my channel too. I think it'd be fun regardless if it's Halloween. So yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you did. Comment down below and let me know what do you want to see next. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Look at how unsettling I look with blue eyes, you guys. Like, I look like a different person. Oh, and if you want to see the pin, I had this fully custom made. I own the mold to it. But yeah, this is how much I love this movie, guys. Chef's kiss. Go watch it if you haven't seen it, okay?